loop design because we are done with the for loop. So I can go to the loop design. Then after that, I talk a little bit about the nested loop. If you have time, then we can talk about the do while statement, also the flag control. All right. So loop design. Now, that was when? Was it on Wednesday? On Wednesday, Dr. Grace called me, and it is with regard to you guys. Not that you've done something bad. No, you've not done anything. But the staff, okay, the lecturers had a meeting with regard to artificial intelligence, the use of AI in coursework and all sort of things. They had a training, and according to those who came to train them, they said we should allow you guys to use AI. And other lecturers were saying that no, they won't allow you guys to use AI. So they wanted my take on that. And you guys are already aware. I told you anytime I even share a work with you guys, let me even share the work I want to send you guys. Okay, anytime I share a work with you guys, what do I normally say? Okay, I put at the top over there. All right, so I put at the top over there that I strongly advise that you do not rely on generative AI tool. If I say do not rely, it doesn't mean that don't use it. Okay, to complete your assignment. Instead, practice writing and testing your programs in your VS Code editor to strengthen your understanding of the concept taught in class. Then, you may use generative AI tool to help identify and debug errors. That is fantastic. Okay, that is fantastic. I'll let you do that. Okay, but entirely putting the code in generative AI and letting them write it for you is what our advice. That's put a stop to it, because your brain development is part of human development. We need to develop your cognitive ability. So anytime you rely more on this generative AI, if it becomes too much, your brain goes to sleep and you cease to be a human being. Well, what makes us human beings is the use of our brain. That is what distinguishes us from dog and other animals. Other animals, we say they respond to instinct, but we have choices and decisions that we take based on our processing that we have. Okay, so please, allowing AI to do the work for you is equivalent to copying another person's work and presenting it as your own. As you can see, such an approach undermines your learning and does not prepare you adequately for assessment. Okay, so my take here is you can use it for debugging. If you are not sure of anything, you can tell AI to present and explain. It's a tool, but do not depend on it too much, or else your cognitive abilities will go off. And I have to be honest with you. And when it happens like that, we have to find a way to grade you guys. It can be in terms of our presentation, can be in terms of report writing, and even report writing, students even normally use AI. So one other thing that I can do, which maybe I'll not even put a lot of emphasis on the exams, presentation wise, I'll let you guys come and present. So the way your articulation, explaining code and all these things will let me know that you actually understand the concept, and I can grade you there. The exams, you can write the exams, but I will not even take the exams into consideration. Okay. So kindly take notes. There are several ways that I can use to assess you guys. You can write the exams, but I can put the exam somewhere and assess you differently. But definitely there will be a project for you guys to do in C. And I know definitely you'll be using this. Okay? So I also find a way to grade you guys. I'm not saying don't use generative AI, but over-reliant on it won't help you. So this is an example of some of the things you guys will be doing in your midterm. So I'll be sending this one to you guys right now, which I'm done. I was just doing the final editing so that you look at it. So it's more of debugging. So I have a code over here. So you go through the code, then you now tell me where the error is. So error line so if you think the error is line 17, you tell me line 17, then you put the correct code over there. That means I'm going to write the correct code. The same thing. Then you try to explain things as well. Then you also study the code over here. So this is known as the trace table, as I showed you. So I will give you the inputs. You're supposed to pick the inputs and pass it through the code one by one, okay, till you populate all these things. Okay, that is something you're also going to do. Then I also ask some questions over here as well. Then here you also be writing some statements C. You're not going to write the entire code, but just C statements, just one line. So all these things boils down to the fact that at least you need to understand whatever thing you are doing. Once you understand, it will not be a big problem at all. Okay, so kindly take note. I'll send this one or I'll share with you guys immediately after the class. Practice, because on Wednesday you see a similar one. I'm not saying the same thing. I won't bring the same thing and I won't do that, but you see a similar one. So kindly take note. Okay. All right. So the loop design, anytime you want to develop a loop, you need to pay attention to certain things. For example, your input, your output, and how many repetition are you doing? Okay, are you going to repeat in advance? All these things are things you take into consideration. What are the input? Am I going to input it before the loop or after the loop or inside the loop? Your output, are you outputting after the loop or in the loop? And remember, anytime you output inside the loop, that means each loop you're going to have what? An output. Each loop you're going to have what? An output. Is there any repetition? That means are you repeating again in the loop? These are things you ask yourself. Okay. And how do you know how long to keep repeating the steps? So are you, dealing with a Sentinel where the user will enter a number and the program has to stop? Or are you looping for some number of times? Or what specific thing are you doing? So these are things that you actually have to pay attention to. Okay. All right. So let's talk about Sentinel, which I'll see some stuff about it. So Sentinel. So many programs will loops input one or more additional data item each time the loop body is repeated. So I don't know if I did explain this thing to you guys before, that the Sentinel is a value that what you input. It's a unique value, a unique data that you enter that causes the program to stop or to come to a halt. So you can write a program and tell the person, enter a number, immediately enter 0 to stop the code. Enter a number, enter -1 to stop the program. So the -1 or 0 become what? Sentinel. Sentinel in a sense that immediately that 0 or a 0 is entered, or -1 is entered, the program has to come to a halt. So that -1 or that 0 become a Sentinel. Okay. And we always test. That means the condition will be checking whether the Sentinel is actually entered. Okay. So if the Sentinel is actually inputted, that means we have to stop the condition. We have to stop the loop. All right. So we are always checking to make sure that what the Sentinel value is not what is actually not entered. Once it's entered, we stop. Okay, we stop the loop. Then we continue. Okay, later on. All right. So how do you plan your Sentinel controlled loops? You choose the Sentinel value carefully. It must be a value that could not normally occur as data. Something like 0. 0, we normally 0 a lot. Other people also use -1. Other people also use enter. That means you press enter. Once you press enter, the program will what? Others also use the space bar. Press the space bar to stop it. But most of the time is 0 and what? -1. 0 and -1. Then the second one, a loop that processes data until the Sentinel value is entered has the form. So that means you are going to have a loop, and this loop is going to process the data over and over again until the Sentinel value is entered. Okay, so once the Sentinel value is entered, either we stop and we continue the rest of the program after the loop, okay, or we stop the program entirely. We stop the program entirely. Now the Sentinel, we can use a for loop for Sentinel. We can also have a while loop for a Sentinel. So we are going to try both of them so that you see how to write a code, a Sentinel control loop using the for loop or using the while loop. Any question? The explanation I'm giving so far? Any question?
Sorry, sir. Could you please go over what you said?
I should go back what I said. Which one
Yes,
specifically?
please. When you were explaining the Sentinel, the
Yeah, so I said for the Sentinel, okay, uh, it's a special value that you enter, okay, and once we check the condition and we see that you've entered that special value, the loop stop, okay. And I'm saying that when you take the Sentinel, okay, we have um, we have one that you can write using the for loop, and also one that you can write using what the while loop, okay. So we are going to test all of them using both the for loop and also what the while loop, so that you'll be able to see that, oh, okay, I can implement a Sentinel control loop using the for, or I can implement a Sentinel control using what the while. But a Sentinel is actually a unique value or a special value that you input in a program that stops the loop. And as I said, it's a special value. They said it shouldn't be any ordinary value. Okay. For example, as I said, most of the time we use what 0 or -1. Use 0 or -1. So this code we are about to do, we are going to use 0. That means immediately the person enters 0, we stop. All right. Are you okay, princess?
yes, please.
All right. So because I'm recording, so I'll be a little bit fast with my typing. Okay. So you can go and check the video again and try to program along with me. Okay. So let me increase the fonts a little bit, and let's implement the for Sentinel. Okay. So the for Sentinel. All right. So I'll take my time, but as I said, if you can't type along, the video is there. You can go and watch it later on. Okay. So I'll include my skeleton. Okay. Standard input output, then int main, then void. Okay. All right. So here, what we are going to do is that we're going to, come up with a program that is going to sum, okay, or we are just going to sum it, sum a number the person is going to enter. Immediately the person entered 0, the program has to stop. So a program to what? To find the sum of what? All the numbers entered by what? By the user. The program stop when the user enters. When the user enters what? 0, which is what the Sentinel value. So 0 is going to be our Sentinel value. So we are going to use the for loop. Okay. So remember, we are using the for loop. The program to find the sum of all the numbers entered by the user. Okay. The program stops when the user enters 0, which is our Sentinel value. Are you okay up to this level?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's move on. All right. So let's get our input variable. Okay. So input variable. So what we need, the person definitely has to enter a number. So int number. Then what again? I think apart from that, I don't have anything. Then do I even need an app? Okay. Then we also have our output variable, which is our total. But the total, because it's going to be an accumulator, so we need to initialize it. Okay, you are going to be summing the number the person is going to enter. Okay, you're going to sum the number the person is going to enter. So definitely, it's going to you need to initialize it to 0. I don't know if you guys are okay with that. Okay, so the first thing we'll do is we are going to prompt the user to enter a number. Then we keep prompting the user, enter a number, enter a number. So we keep entering. We tell the person enter 0 or to stop. So I use my put, say what, enter the number. Okay, so enter 0, okay, to stop the program. All right. So here we need to take the input, but I'm not going to take the inputs here. I'm going to take the input using the for loop. Okay, so this is just going to prompt the user. So I'm going to use the for loop. So using the for loop. All right, so last time the engineering students, that is something I want from you guys. You guys should start doing that. Okay, sometimes I'm not saying you guys they are better than you, but they sometimes push me. Okay, so I wrote the code, and some of them went back to tweak it, and they came back try to challenge me that when they did like this, still working. So we need to explain why it is working. All right. So this is what I did. So I used the for loop. Okay, and the first thing was I have to take input from the user. Okay, so I use the scanf. Okay, which we can do that. Do like this? Then, sorry. Then I have my number already here. Okay. Then here the number should not be equal to what? Should not be equal to 0, right? The number should not be equal to 0. Okay. So then I also did something like this, which they told me when they came back. They said, "Sir, if you remove sorry, if you remove the first scanf, the code will still work." That is what they told me, and I did it work, but I was still struggling to get the concept, what they were trying to mean by that. Okay, what am I even doing? Okay, all right. So here, you see, let's look at our for loop carefully. Now, this is my initializer, right? That's my initializer. This is my test. This is the condition we check. Okay, this is the condition we check. Then this is also what? The update. Now, if you look at it, this is what they did. They said we can remove this and just do our check over here and this and do the update. Now, this update is very, very important because the update that is going to prompt the user to keep entering. Enter again, enter again, enter again, enter again, enter again. Okay. All right. So it's going to prompt the user to enter over and over and over again. That is why they update it. But what they did was they removed this and the code still work. We'll talk about that. So let's make sure that whatever we are doing over here works before we try to remove certain part of it. Okay, so enter a number. So enter 0 to stop the program. Okay, so here when I run the loop, it will expect that what I enter a number, then to check if the number is what is not equal to what 0. That means the number is not equal to 0. Then we have to do some updates. Okay, so we can get our accumulator. So update our accumulator. Update the accumulator, which is total plus or equal to what number. Okay, so here is going to prompt the user like that. So that means anytime you enter the number, you need to press enter. You enter the number, you press enter. Enter the number, you press enter, like that. Or what we can do is that we can also have another put over here. That'll be prompting the user over and over again to be enter a number. So instead of us doing the update, you can have another put over here. All right, which is what enter again. Okay, enter again. All right, so this one is also fine. So that means this is going to prompt the user, then enter again. So we can just tell it 0 to stop. So 0, enter 0 to stop the program. Okay, so once I finish, I can come here. I don't want to print it, the total in the loop. So this is inside the loop. I don't want to print the total inside the loop. That is why I spoke about the loop design. The loop design, you need to know where you are printing or where you are outputting your thing. If I output over here, each loop, the print is going to run, and I don't want to do that way. So I want to collect all my data first. Once I'm done accumulating my data in the total, then I can come out and maybe I'll do my printf by saying what the total, or the sum of numbers, or the total of numbers entered, total of numbers entered is, all right, can put some space over here, and this is my D. All right, then I can put my total over there so that I have my this. Okay, so here now I have this. So let me try to compile this. If nothing goes wrong, I'll expect that the system will allow me to input numbers over and over again. When I enter 0, it will have to pause for me to do that. So here, let me see to group B. Okay, Nana, go on. Any question?
So for the first scan, if you just will scan, you didn't add anything.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right, thank you. It's kind of rather. All right, thank you. So we have which is 4. Sorry, ECC 4. Sentinel. All right. So it has compiled successfully. Let's see. Okay. So it asking me to enter a number. If I enter 7, enter a number again, I enter 9. All right, let me enter 0. Let's see. All right, so the total is 16. Okay, so as you can see, so the 0 over here becomes for my sentinel. Is my sentinel, right? Okay, now we run again and let me try to enter 0 first. Let's see what is going to happen. All right, so the total of numbers entered is what, or the sum of numbers, or any of them, I don't know. Total numbers entered. Okay, so here, as you can see, I'm using the 4 as sentinel. So what the engineering student was saying, I said, you can take this thing off and to still work. So let's remove this. That is what they suggested. So let me do the compile it and let's see. And I would love you guys to explain to me why it should work. Okay. All right. I challenge them. Okay. That okay. Yeah. I challenge them that this thing will not. No. Which one did they remove? I think they removed. Let me be sure whether they removed the first one or the second one. I'm coming. Because when we remove the first one, it's not working. I think to be the second one. Let's see this one. They removed one of them and it worked. No. Then maybe I didn't make them correct. They removed one of them and it worked. And they were challenging me. Okay. I don't know which one they removed, but maybe you have to check their code again. Okay, but we can still stop here and let me go back. Okay. So I'll still stop here, undo. Okay. And I'll still maintain it this way. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So please, any question in regard to what I've done? Are we okay with the 4 Sentinel? All right, Nana, go on.
So please, can you like go through the code from using the for loop side like downwards? Can you explain it?
All right.
Like,
So
just briefly.
okay. So if you look at the for loop, we learned that we have what? The first part is what is the initializer, right? Or the initialization. The second one is the condition testing, and the third one is what the update, right? Now remember, you can use the for loop not only uh, for only that counting. You can use it for all sort of things. That's something you have to know. Okay, you can use the for loop for all sort of things, not just only that counting we saw when I was teaching the for loop. Okay, I can even take input. So as you are seeing, I'm even taking input in the for loop. Now, why is this thing working? If you remember, let's go back to the script. I mean the slide. There's something I said regard to the for loop, so that where is it? Okay, so he said the 3 expressions are optional, right? So if the condition expression is omitted, he assumed that the loop condition is true, so infinite loop, right? You may omit the initialization expression if the control variable is initialized, blah blah blah. The increment is something that was supposed to say, no, I didn't see it over here. Okay. So then I didn't tell you guys. Okay. Now when you look at the initializer, this, okay, it's expecting that what we input a number. So for example, if I do something like this, let me just put a short some for loop here and show you guys. So for some int k is equal to, let's say, 1. All right. This is what you guys were expecting to see. But what I have over here is a scanf. Somebody's wondering what's the difference between this and that. Remember, this one, I what? I declared a variable and what? I initialize it, right? Let's go to the top. You see that I've declared my variable over here. So here, what I'm doing is that I'm doing initialization. I'm entering the number. But if you look at here, what I did was I declared a variable, then I did initialization straight away by assigning what? 1 to it. So here, if I come here, it's the same thing as this. But this time I'm using the scanf. That whatever number that you put over here, just put over here. So in actual sense, if I enter 5, it's supposed to be something like this. Equal to 5. That's the meaning. If I enter 5, this is how it's supposed to be. So that means if I remove this whole thing, I'm going to cut this and come and put it over here. That is the meaning. I don't know if you get it now. Okay. So then we also come to the middle one. As for this, I don't think anybody will have any issue because one, we are testing the condition. So here we are testing the condition. That means the number should not be equal to 0. Okay. That means if this condition is true, we do whatever is over here. We do whatever is over here. Okay. Are you okay? We do whatever is over here. So that one, I don't think we have any issue. Then we have the update. Okay. And we said that the update, we need the update so that what? The condition has to what? Move to what? To falseness. The condition has to move to the falseness. Or sorry, the number has to move close to what? To falseness so that we can stop the loop. Okay. So what is this thing also doing over here? Now remember this becomes what? Our initialization. This one we are testing. But how do you know that we are getting close to the false? That means we need to take another input again. That means if I enter 1 and I enter 0 over here, okay, 0 is false. So that means this thing will not go on again. Okay, so the main function of the update over here is to make sure that what? We go close to what? To the value that will make the whole loop false. Okay, that will make the whole value what? False. Sorry, the whole condition rather, to make the whole condition false. Okay, so that is why we have it over here. Okay, but as I said, the engineering student did something. Let me see whether I can find their own. They remove it and it worked. I don't know whether I even did it using my own. I'm coming. Let me see whether it's this one. Uh-huh. Oh, okay. No, I didn't remove it. I didn't do it. They did something and it worked. And they told me that their own is working, blah 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 and stuff. Okay. Yeah. All right. So are you okay with the explanation I've given you so far? Alakofi, are you okay? The rest of you, are you okay? Princess and Co, are you okay?
Yes.
All right. So if yes, Adoma, go on. Okay. All right. So as the down here to any problem, what I did over here. So here, we need to. The reason why I put over here is that to be prompting the user over and over again, right? That's why I put a put over here so that you have to prompt the user over and over again, right? As for this, I don't think we have any issue because this is equivalent to what? Equivalent to total is equal to what? Total plus what? Number, right? I don't think we have any issue. I've just condensed it, right? Then I come outside the loop then to print one thing. Any question here before I move on to the 4? If you're okay to, you can give me thumbs up, and I can move on to the WoW Sentinel. All right. So let's move on to the WoW Sentinel, which all right. Now, oh, I'm lost, eh? Have I taught you guys the 4 Sentinel already? You've done it, right? Yeah, remember, yeah, we did it in class. I remember. Okay. That's why it's still pausing. So let me go over the 4 here. Okay. And somebody, was it your class? Aha, your class also suggested something that is the student over here that he did it over here and it worked. And I told I told you guys that, I mean, I don't like this because sometimes if they are okay, the exercise I'll give it to you, you're going to see the reason why I said I don't prefer this. I prefer that you input get a value at the top first before you do another testing inside. Okay, so enter your number, press 0 to stop the program. So I want to take my scanf here again. All right, so I need to have my scanf here. D over here, then I have what? My number. Okay, before I come in again, okay, to do any other thing. So for example, okay, so let me even change this. Let me make it Sentinel 2, which I'll use the accumulator so that we get the thing correctly. Mm, Let me close this. All right. So or Sentinel dot 2 or 2.c. All right. So we are going to do the same thing we did for the for loop. Okay. So that we look at it why I said I prefer the input first before that, or else it's going to add something that you yourself you don't like. Okay. So I should include standard input. All right. So int main void. All right. So we have this now. Okay. So now the same thing. I will declare my input variables. Okay. So what do I have? So int number. Okay. Then declare what output variables, which is what int total. But I have to set it to 0. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to use the while loop. So using the while loop. Okay. So I'm going to have my sentinel, which we are going to tell the person. So I'll use the put over here and tell the person what. Enter. Oh, enter the number. Okay. Which is what enter 0 to stop the program. All right. So I can have my scanf, which do you hear? Then this is going to be my ampersand, then what number here. Okay. So let me have my while loop. Then I'll do my testing, which is what the number is not equal to what 0. So if number is not equal to 0, then I can now do my accumulator. So I'll do my total is plus or equal to, so equal to what? Equal to number. Then I'll put again and tell the person what? Enter again. So enter 0 to stop the program. Then I'll watch my scanf, which is D is what number. All right. So I can come here, then I can use my printf dot the sum of the numbers, that is d, which is equal to total. All right. All right. So let's look at something over here. When I run this, it's going to work. Okay. But let me compile it and let me try to explain what last time one of you suggested that. So GCC while Sentinel 2, while Sentinel 2. All right. So while Sentinel 2. All right. So enter a number 0 to stop. So if I enter 4, enter 5. When I enter 0, it will tell me 9. That is correct. Okay. So here I have my input variable, my output variable, because it's an accumulator. That's why I'm initializing it to 0. Okay. Then this is my prompt to take from the user. Okay, so this is how to become here. All right, so here I prompt the user for input from the user for input. All right, so here, then when I come in here, I have another scanf over here. Why do I need that? Last time somebody suggested that, if you remove this thing, this thing will work. And I told the person that, okay, so the person said that we can bring this back down here. That means I need to cut this one and bring it down here. That's what the person suggested. Then I comment this thing out. The person said this, that is going to work. And yes, it's going to work. Why is it going to work? I did explain this. Who explained it for me? Why would this thing work when I do something like this? Why will it work? Who's going to explain it? Why will it work? I think it was in your class that somebody brought that issue. So let's be quick. Why will it work? Let's hurry up. Kofi, what do you think? Anna Kofi too, what do you think? The two Kofis, what do you think? Dimension names? Adama, what do you think? Hey, this is your thinking. All right, Princess, go on.
Sorry, so what exactly are you asking us if we would?
Yeah, so I've commented the input at the top. I've commented it out. And I copied the total from the top here down here. And I'm saying that I've not, I didn't take any input. But if you look at it, the number over here is being compared to 0. But I don't have any input for the number. I have the input in the loop. That means I do the comparison first before I take any input for the number. And I'm asking, why do you think this thing will work? Yes, Ishra?
So,
Okay, Princess, go on.
oh, it's fine.
Yeah, Princess, go on.
So, from my understanding, since it's asking the user to input like 0 to stop the program, that's like for the code to work.
Yeah.
It's still working. Even though you highlighted the other one, it's the same, like it's the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but why will it work? Because I've not initialized anything and I'm comparing the number. The person has not entered any value for the number, but I'm comparing number to 0. And I'm saying, why do you think it will work?
So the total is 0.
No, I'm not doing the comparison with the
Maybe 12.
total. I'm not doing the comparison with the
Something
total.
like the system.
Princess, no, I'm not doing the comparison with the total. I'm doing with the number. Have you seen it? The number is what I'm comparing to the 0. It's not the total.
So
Okay,
isn't 19 being into the total is 0?
yeah, but if you look at
That
the
means you're setting to go up.
no. I'm not using the total. It's the total that has been initialized to 0, not the number.
Okay.
All right, Ishra, can you go on?
Because when you're using C, every time the variable is
All right. So that is that. So yes. So Manuel. Ma- All right. So Ishra has explained it. So that is something we can do in C. Okay. So anytime you declare a variable in C, C will give it what, a redundant or a random value. Okay. But it's supposed to be an integer. All right. It gives a redundant value. So although we've declared this, he has given this one a value already. Oh. He has given a redundant value already, which is some big number that we are not even aware of. So because this is an integer, we can compare it over here, although you've not taken any input yet. So this will also work. So the redundant or the random number given to the number here, that's what we are going to use to compare the 0. And that number will not be 0, and it can never be 0. So that means this while loop will be true. So if this while loop will be true, then we now come inside the loop, and now we'll now take another input again, take input, then it can go on. All right. I don't know if you get it. Yes, Ishra. Come again.
breaking.
Oh, I'm breaking. Wow. Can you hear me? Oh, then you should check your network because my network is fine here. I'm monitoring my network, so it's fine. Hmm. Okay. So let me try to compile it and run to see. Okay. Okay. So I have this. Who the person can go on? Ask the question. So enter is that if I enter 0, you tell me 11. So this one also ought to work. Okay, this one also work. But as I said, uh, maybe the work that I was sending to you, you try to put it in this format and let's see whether it will work. Because of the redundant value, sometimes if you are doing some mathematics, you don't take your time, you might use it and it will cost you. You can take note of that. Okay. Please, are we okay with the Sentinel for loop? So while loop? Let me know before I move on to uh, the do while. Are we okay? Okay. Mommy, Adoma, are you okay? Your hand is up. Do you want to accept? Okay. All right.
One, two.
Yeah, zero. Yeah, zero should be this. So zero is the sentinel.
So in case you are not using zero as a total other number, would you make it like while number is not equal to that number,
Yes,
or you would use another way?
that is what I've done. While number is not equal to -1. So let me run it, compile it. Yeah. So if I put now this time when I put zero, the code will not break. Have you seen it? When I enter zero, did you see the code breaking? Aha. But immediately I enter -1, it will break. Aha.
Basically, you can use it for any number, just that zero and -1 are the popular sentences.
Yeah, the popular sentinel. But one thing you have to note about the -1, you see that it has added a -1 to this. Have you seen? I entered 8 over here. When I entered a -1, it has what? Added it.
Yeah.
Aha.
Yes.
So sometimes that is what?
Okay.
No, the sentinel is supposed to stop it. It's not supposed to add it to your numbers. I'm not using the -1 as a computational number. I'm just using it to stop the code. So you shouldn't add it to the numbers I've already entered.
Okay.
So when it happens like that, then you, the designer, you need to find a way out to make sure that the -1 will not be part of your summation. It stops the program. Okay.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right. Any more? Any more questions? All right. So if no question, then let's move on. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Is Eva on the call? Hello, Eva. Okay, Eva is on the call. I can see her. Who again? Is Solis on the call? Uh, Solis. Solis is not on the call. Then Cynthia. Where is Cynthia? Is Cynthia too on the call? Cynthia too is not on the call. All right. Okay, so let me move on. All right, so that is that. So let's move on to the dual, and I think if I can finish, I'm very happy with the dual. Okay, hey, you say the nested loops. All right. Now let me talk about this. Then maybe I'll reserve the dual and the flag Monday. Okay. So let's talk about the nested loops. You can nest a loop in another loop. Okay, I can have a while loop, and inside the while loop, I can have a for loop inside. I can have a for loop, and inside the for loop, I have a while loop inside. Okay, I can have a while loop, and inside the while loop, I can have a for loop inside. I can have a for loop, and inside the for loop, I can have another for loop inside. So I can nest the loops like that. I don't know, you when you guys learn about data structures and algorithm, those of the IT student and a computer science student, you learn about complexity, how to calculate this. Okay, so when you say that when you are nesting loops, they are very expensive. If I say they're expensive, they take a lot of time. So you don't normally, prefer, nesting loops because they take a lot of time to do the calculation. So I'm going to implement maybe 2 or 3, some of them, okay, for you guys to see, but I'll take my time to explain. If you don't get the code, draw my attention, let me explain it once again. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have a for loop, and inside the for loop, I'm going to have a while loop. So I'm going to prompt somebody to enter 10 numbers, but a person can only enter negative. So if the person can only enter positive. If the person enters a negative number, it shouldn't count. You need to tell the person again, okay, to input positive number before the code will continue. I don't know if you get me. We are going to tell somebody to input 10 numbers. only positive numbers should be entered. If the person enters a negative number, the program need to prompt it the number of times for the person to enter positive. So if the person enters negative again, it should not, take that number as input. It need to tell the person, no, I still need positive. If the person enters negative, it has to still prompt the person, I still need positive. So you have to keep prompting the person over and over again till the person enters positive. Once the person enters positive, then the outer loop will now continue. Okay, so I'm going to write a program like that, then we'll try to understand it. I'll use small numbers, so that we'll see how the program is going to. So let's have, nested, which is nested, which one should I be in? So nested loop, 1.c. So let me just do one. Okay. So I get my skeleton, then standard, okay, int main, then void. All right. So let's, write something small about our program. So the program prompts a user to enter only positive numbers. When a negative number is entered, the program, okay, should prompt the user again to enter positive number. Okay. Yeah. So when the negative number is entered, the program should prompt the user, okay, till a positive number is entered. Let me correct it. Till should prompt the user, okay, till a positive number is entered. Okay. So it's going to do that over and over again. All right. So just follow my lead. So here, I'm going to have my input variable. So input, sorry. So I have int number. Okay. Then this, let's also have an input because I'm going to find the total of it. Okay. Why is it expected expression? What a mistake somewhere? Sorry. Okay. So here we also have our output variable. All right. So output variable. So we have int or total. The same thing we set it to 0. Okay. All right. So when a person enters negative, the negative will not be part. You only are summing positive numbers. Okay. Okay. So here we sum all the positive numbers. So we sum all the positive. Okay. Numbers. All right. So now let's come down. The next thing we are going to do is I'm going to use a for loop. So for, then I can use some kb is equal to 1. Then I use my k, which is less than or equal to 10. Then I have k plus plus. I hope you understand this one too as well. This for loop, I hope you understand. So here we're going to loop for 10 times. So looping 10 times. You take the inputs. Take the inputs. Okay. Somebody is wondering, can't we take the input here? We can do that. Okay, we can take the input over here. And I can do that over here, but no. I just want to show you how we are going to nest the loop in another loop. So here we are going to loop the for loop 10 times. Okay. So we start from 1. So we are going to increase it one by one till when you get to, hey, what have I done? Supposed to be less than rather. All right. So when it's greater than 10, it should not. Okay. When it's greater than 10, it should not. Okay. So here, let's take input from the user. So I prompt the user for input. I can use the puts to enter number. Okay, only what positive numbers. Only positive numbers. Okay, needed. All right. Then I can use my scanf. Then I can take my data in a percent number. All right. So I have my list now. Now what is left is I don't do the totaling yet. I need to validate. So let's validate the data. So validate the number entered. So that's why I'm going to use the while loop. Okay. So while number entered is less than 0. Okay, it's less than 0. 0 is actually it's neither positive or negative, so we can still take 0. I don't have any problem. So what the number the person entered is less than 0, then we tell the person no, please, wrong input. Please input what, or please enter positive number. Okay, then we take the scanf again, right, which is number. Okay, then we now come here, then we can do accumulator. So total is equal to plus or equal to what, number. Then maybe probably here we can do our printf. We say what, the total or the sum of numbers entered is the, which is our total. All right. Now, please, let's read the code. If you are not sure of any place, let me explain it before I run it. Let me know if you are okay with all the explanation that I've given. So this is what we are going to use. So if you look at it, this is a for loop, which is the outer loop, and this is another loop inside. I'm using this loop to validate. I'm using this loop to validate. Okay, that is another loop inside another loop. So this one is going to run 10 times, but each loop I'll be checking validation purposes to make sure that the number the person is going to enter for each iteration, the number is actually positive. If the number is negative, this one will run. It will keep on running till the person enters a positive number. The person, let me even change it to 5 so that I can do it quickly for us to see the effect of the code. Okay, or the effect of the program. All right. So let me compile it quickly. GCC, then nested loop, nested loop 1. All right. Nested loop. All right. So here, let's look at it. It says enter a number. Only positive number is here. So I'm going to enter 4 positive numbers, but the last one I'll keep entering negative, and we see. The first one I'll enter 2. So I enter another 2. I'll enter another 2. Then the fourth I'll enter 2. But the last one I'm going to enter a negative number. So let me enter negative 2. Let's see. So wrong input, please enter positive number. So if I keep entering negative, it will keep telling me what? Wrong input. But bear in mind that I've entered what? 4 positive numbers, 2, 2, 2, 4. So in the head or in the memory, we have 8 in the total. So if I enter another 2, that means the total has to be 10, right? So let me enter 2 and let's see. So you see that the sum of numbers entered is what? Is 10. So you see, that is, I'm nesting one loop in another loop. So I'm using the while loop to validate, to make sure that the correct number is actually entered. While the correct number is not entered, I'm not going to move on with my summation. I have to hold on for the correct number to be entered before I can proceed. I'm nesting one loop in another loop. Any question? Okay, Princess, go on.
Sorry, sir, my line was cutting. Can you please re-explain the code again?
Okay, so I said we are nesting one loop in another loop. So what I'm doing here is that I have a for loop, and inside the for loop, I have another while loop inside. Okay, so the while loop, as you can see over here, is also a loop over here. So here, what I'm doing over here is I'm using the for loop, and this I believe you all know. So here that means I'm going to what? Iterate 5 times. I'm going to what? Iterate 5 times. That means I'm going to run it 5 times. Now each iteration, I'm going to ask the user to what? Enter a number. Okay, and it's only positive numbers needed. So only positive numbers. Okay, then I'll scan F. Now, how will I know the person has entered a positive number? I can use an if statement, but that one is not good for validation. Okay, but the while loop is very, very good. So that is why I said we are nesting one loop in another. So here I'm nesting the while loop in a for loop. So when a person enters the first number, we have to check whether the number entered or is positive. If the number is positive, this will be skipped because this condition will be what? Will be false. So we will jump and come and total it. But if this condition is true, that means if the number entered is less than 0, it means the number is negative. That means whatever you have inside here is going to run. So it will keep running till the person enters what? A positive number. If the person doesn't enter a positive number, there's no way this one will stop. It will keep running. So once the person enters a positive number, then this one will go. So I was trying to show you guys an example that I can enter some numbers. So let me type this, and I said, okay, I want to enter 2. So when I enter 2, I enter another 2, enter another 2, enter another 2. So if I entered 2 4 times, right? So that means in the memory of or in the address of the accumulator, it's supposed to be 8. That means I'm left with the last digit to enter. Then it will give me the total number. And the last digit, I want to enter a negative number. So let me enter negative 2. If I enter negative 2, it's telling me wrong input. Please enter positive number. Let me enter negative 5. The same thing, wrong input. So any negative number that I enter is not going to move. It will keep prompting me over and over and over again till I get the positive number or till I enter the positive number. But mind you, the accumulator is still storing what? The 8, which is from the 2 4s that I entered. So if I enter another 2 again, or even if I enter 1, it's going to be 8 plus 1, which is going to be 9. Okay? So as you can see, the sum of numbers entered is what? Is 9. So already I've entered what? 2, 2, 2. That means 4 positive numbers. They are all 2. But the rest of the numbers I entered, they were all negative. So the program will only allow me to proceed. But when I entered the next positive number, which is 1, the program was executed. Then it added the 1 to the 8, which returned 9. Okay? Because we are looping or we are iterating 5 times, the code will come to a halt because I've entered 5 different values for the for loop. Are we okay, Princess?
Yes, please.
All right, so that is that. So, any question? All right, so if no question, then we are going to have another for loop. Sorry, another for loop, 2 for loops that another for loop, okay, which we are going to use to do times table. I'm going to use to print times table. Okay. So let me have another for loop again, which is nested loop 2. Let's ask your question, Manuel. Nested.
I just wanted to see the ending of the code.
Come again.
I just wanted to see the ending of the code.
Ah, okay, okay. Is here.
Okay.
You're welcome. All right, so we are going to create a times table, okay, which to create a times table, we are going to need two for loops. So when we get to arrays, we'll be using for loops a lot, okay, because arrays are what? I mean, data structures that will be stored in a rectangular format. So we have the 1D array, we also have the 2D array. So if it's a 1D array, you just one single loop or one single for loop can what? Do the work for us. But when you have two arrays, or maybe 2D arrays, sorry, when you have 2D arrays, we need what? Two for loops. One loop to go through the row, one loop to go through the column. One loop to go through the row, one loop to go through the column. Okay, so let's start. So you're going to have a times table, which is timetable from 2 all the way to what? To 12. Okay, so I have hash include standard input, then int main void. All right, I'm not being adding my return. I have to just stop to it. It's not good. Anytime I use the int, I forgot to add my return. A bad practice. Yes, go on. Ask your question.
So, yeah. So if we don't put a return, would it still work?
It will work.
Just kept the
It will work. But I said it's
not necessary.
yeah, but it's a bad practice. It's a bad practice. You have to yeah. It will work. Oh, but I didn't put it over there. It worked perfectly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying that is
But it's supposed to be like outside of the brackets, like
wait,
braces.
the return. No, it's supposed to be inside the main. The curly braces is the main. Don't put it outside. The return has to be inside the main, not outside the main. Okay. All right. So a program. Oh, sorry. To print times the timetable. Okay, to 12. All right. So I'm going to do that using what nested for loops. Okay. So we are going to do that. So here I don't need any input, I don't need any output. What I need is I need my two for loops. So the first is the outer for loop. Now when you have let me just put a thing there so that I can explain it quickly. So I have some k, or let me using I rather. No, I is not good. K. So int k is equal to 1. Then k we are going to move all the way equal to 12. Okay, let me space it out so that to look nice. Then I have my k plus plus. Okay, so here I'm going to print with my f. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. Mm, okay, yeah, sorry. All right, so we call this one is known as the outer loop. Now when you have two loops, two for loop, when the outer loop runs one, the inner loop has to run. If the inner loop is running 10 times, the inner loop has to complete it all loops before the outer loop can move to the next one. I don't know if you get it. When you have two for loops, the outer loop runs once, but the inner loop has to run the number of times, or the inner loop has to complete it all iteration before it will now fall out again to the for loop. Okay, so here, what is happening here is this is my outer loop. The outer loop, I'm going to start from 1 and move all the way to 12. Here I'm printing, which is the K, and I'm using the new line. That means I'm going to have one single line. Okay, so let me print this and you guys will see what is happening. I'll be doing step by step so that you see what is actually happening. So GCC nested loop 2, nested loop 2. All right, so loop, oh sorry, nested loop 2. All right, so have you seen it has printed a thing for me? 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 it has done. That is my outer loop. So I want to have this, then I'm going to print the rest horizontally like this. I'm going to print the rest horizontally. Or let me start from 2. I don't like 1, so let's start from 2 instead. Okay. So I'm going to print the rest horizontally like this. That means I'm going to have 2, then times 2, which is what? 4, then 6, like that. Okay, that multiplication table thing. All right. So the next one is I'm going to need what? An inner loop. So an inner loop over here. And as I said, when the for loop int j is equal to 2, then j is less than or equal to 12, then j plus plus. Now remember, this is my outer loop. So when the outer loop iterates 1, this one has to iterate from 2 all the way to 12. It has to complete this iteration before we now go and increase the k to 3. So when k is 2, we are going to print whatever we are going to print over here 12 times. So if I do print like this, and I do my D, okay, I normally prefer using the tab. So let me use the tab rather. Then I have my J over here, which is J times 2, right? Because we are doing times table. Okay, so when you pick J, you multiply J by 2, and J will go like that all the way to whatever. So I'm creating a 2 times 2 table. All right, so here, this is my outer loop. So when k is equal to 2, remember k is equal to 2, that's the outer loop. So when k is equal to 2, this k2 will hold on. Then we come over here and come and do this 12 times. The inner loop has to complete from 2, then we jump to 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, all the way to 12. Once it's finished, then this one will be printed. So when this one is done print, then we move back and k will now move to 3. When k gets to 3, we come and do the same thing over here. Then this one will be printed. Then like that. Okay, I don't know if you get it. I mean now. So let me compile it and let's see if nothing goes wrong. We expect to see something like this. Okay, so in making a mistake with the printing, what am I even doing? Supposed to be I rather, not this. I, so k times j rather, because I'm creating that. I don't know why this one is over here. All right. Okay, so this one I'm looking for, but this is wrong. I have to be careful what I'm doing. I have to be careful what I'm doing. Choo. I think it will be from here. Okay. I think if I get it, this one has to be here. Okay, the printf has to be here, so that I print the number, then I can print this one. I don't need a new line. I need to tab rather. But if I tab, will it work? Let me confirm something. So I tab, then this one also will be tapping, then I can have the put over here. Okay, I just pray it works. It's the formatting that I'm thinking about. Okay. No, there's something. Okay, sorry. All right. Okay, so let's go. You have this. All right, so it's working now. Yeah. Yeah, he's working now. Okay. So let me explain it to you once more. Okay. So this is my outer loop, as I'm saying. Anytime the outer loop runs, the inner loop has to complete it or iteration. Okay. So if the outer loop, the k is equal to 2, we print k, which is 2. We print these 2. When we print these 2, we come to this place. When we come here, we are also going to start with the j. The j is going to start from 2 all the way to 12. That means we are going to start 2, then 3, then 4 for the JR all the way to 12, right? But let's look at this printf over here. Now, this print, what is this printf doing? We are multiplying the k by the j. So remember the k is 2. So if the k is 2, this k is going to be 2, constant 2. But it's the j that is going to change. It's going to keep on changing. So k is going to be 2, but j is going to be 2 by 2. So here becomes what? 2, then which is what we are having 4 over here. Then the j will now change to 3 and I have 6. J will now change to 4, 8, then 5, 10, then 6, 12, then like that all the way toward this. So once I'm done iterating, then I'll print this one. That means I'm telling you to come to the next line. So when it comes to the next line, k will now move to 3. Then I print the 3. 3 will be here. Then I go through the same process for this. Then I come to the next line. K will now move to 4, which I print the 4 from here, which is this 4. Then I multiply it like that, the same thing. K will now move to 5 till I get to this place. Okay. Are we okay? Any question? Hello, guys.
Sir, can you please re-explain? Like, I'm having trouble.
Yeah, so which part? You have to, if you're having trouble getting it, which part so that I'll know
Yeah, for the
which one?
for the out from what you explained, I understood that the outer loop will run first, then the inner loop.
Yes. Then the inner loop. But what I'm saying is that anytime the outer loop runs, it has to wait for the inner loop to finish its iteration. Okay, if the outer loop runs, it has to wait for the inner loop to finish all its iteration. Okay, but it was the formatting that I was doing that was, causing that, that issue at first. So what is happening here is that when k is equal to 2, we print k, which is 2. This one will be printed. Then we come to the inner loop. The inner loop, we are going to start from 2 all the way to 12. But if you look at the print over here, okay, we are still using the k, but mind you that the k is 2, right? The k is 2.
Yeah.
So the 2 is going to be there, but it is the j that is going to keep on changing because we are inside this loop. So first, the j is going to be 2, so it's going to be 2 times 2, which is 4, and we print this. Then the j will now move to 3. Then we come 2 times 3, we print this. The j will now move to 4. 2 times 4, we print this. The j will now move to 5. 2 times 5, we print. So we do it till we get to what? To the last part, which is 12. When j becomes 12, 2 times 12 is what? 24. We get over here. Now we are at the end of the inner loop. So the inner loop is now done. Then we now come to line 21. This line 21, the put will print a new line for us. So we will come to the next line. When we come to the next line, we move to the outer loop. Now the outer loop has to move from 2 to 3. So the outer loop will change from 2 to 3. So when it changes from 2 to 3, we come and repeat the same process over here. So the k becomes 3, but the j is going to be iterating from 2, then 3, then 4, all the way to 12, as you can see over here. So once we finish iterating through, then we print this, we come to the next line, then we increase the k to 4, then we print k, which is 4 over here, come and do the same thing, okay, the same thing until we get to what? This side. I don't know if it's clear or it's still not clear.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Okay, I've heard you. Okay, now any more? Cause I won't go further again. If I go further, I mean some of you will get confused. Okay.
So this will also be in the quiz next week.
The quiz like nesting loose.
Yeah, like
Uh,
everything we've done today will be in the quiz.
yes, everything we've done today will be in a quiz. Mm. What I have taught, the pointers will not come because I have not taught you guys. But the loops, everything up to the loops will come.
Okay.
Yeah, everything up to the loops will come. Yeah. Please, any more question? Any more question, guys? All right. So if no question, then I'll pause here. Okay.